to our channel. We are Money Does Disney and we do Disney vlogs and tips and tricks videos and all sorts of lovely Disney content, so please do subscribe if you're watching us for the first time.
Today's video, we're continuing with our Walt Disney World ride series. Today is going to be our top 5 favourite Disney experience rides. So what we mean by experience rides is rides which are there to fill you full of a sense of awe and wonder. They transport you into that Disney world and they sprinkle bits of Disney magic on everything to give you this whole new experience and this whole interactivity which you get specifically for these sorts of rides. So these are your Pirates of the Caribbean, your soaring, your imagination with Figment, where you go through and you are literally moved into this other dimension that Disney has created.
Yeah. Now I think these are quite rare in the world that we live in terms of theme parks, where everything seems to be there to thrill you. So if you think about your standard theme park, there isn't many rides that are this sort of genre, if you like, without being solely for children, and as we all know, Disney is not just for children. These rides focus on theming and entertainment, and they're the sort of thing that the Disney parks have built their legacy on, and they're very sort of old school and traditional. They're really immersive and they capture the heart and soul of Disney.
Side note, before we go on with this list, we haven't actually been to Pandora yet since it opened. Hoping to get there as soon as possible to go see that.
As soon as possible, maybe in the next decade.
But from what we've seen, it does look absolutely amazing, just like the theming of it just looks like mind blowing. But as we haven't been there, unfortunately, it can't make this list.
Yeah, but those are, from what we've seen online and stuff, those look like really good experience rides.
Yeah, but if you think it would deserve a place, comment below.
Yeah, if you've been, tell us all about it. So in at number 5 is It's a Small World, which is It's a Small World is the happiest cruise that ever sailed. It's an opening day attraction, so it opened on the 1st of October 1971, but was originally showcased at the New York World Fair in 1964, and it's basically a really cute little boat ride that takes you round to see animatronic dolls from different countries, all dressed in kind of traditional dress from wherever they're supposed to be located. And it's got a lovely, warm, joyful message about how everybody in the world isn't too different from each other, which is a really nice message in this day and age. And the song was written by the legendary Sherman Brothers. Yes, they're also the pair that are responsible for writing the songs for Mary Poppins, so Disney legends for definite.
But like we said, absolute, utter Disney icon. Everyone knows that whenever people think of Disney, this is one of the rides which people always think of.
Yeah.
But I think for me, it's really just a really cute little ride. When we went to Disneyland Paris, it was the first ride that we went on there. And it just puts you straight into the Disney mood. It has everything there which is stereotypical Disney except a mouse on it. And then when you get right to the end, all the different nations, they're all dressed in the same outfit, which is quite a strong Disney message about loving people and all that sort of jazz.
They have the most lovely outfits as well, especially in that room at the end when everybody's dressed the same, they're all white and sparkly, and it's just so happy and so cute.
But I would say that it has aged very well. Especially compared to other Disney attractions.
Like classic Disney attractions.
Yeah.
And it's just a great ride for all ages as well. But we will say that It's a Small World is kind of the Marmite of Disney parks. People either love it or they want to kill it on fire.
So number 4 on our list we have Splash Mountain. Woo! So the film, based on Song of the South, released in '46, but then they didn't actually release it at any of the Disney parks until '92. I think it was originally going to be called Zippity-Doo-Dah River Run.
Yeah, so it's a long time in the making.
Which I actually think is such a better name than
I love that name.
Splash Mountain.
Yeah, although I suppose Splash Mountain does what it says on the tin.
They were originally going to have one in Disneyland Paris as well, but they had to scrap that for money, but also because in France it's always bloody freezing. So it's in Magic Kingdom, in Disney World, they've got one in Disneyland and Tokyo as well.
I'm so excited to go on it in Disneyland.
Yeah, it's going to be good. In Critter Country.
Yeah.
The ride was the brainchild of the good old Tony Baxter, Disney legend and Imagineer.
I love him.
He's an amazing guy.
He's a cute old man.
So he's responsible for sort of redesigning the walkthrough for Sleeping Beauty's castle in Disneyland Paris. He also worked on the original Big Thunder Mountain, Star Tours.
The ride sort of split into 2 parts, so partly an experience section and partly a thrill ride. So it ends with a 50-foot drop into lots and lots of lovely water, which is great to cool off. And that's sort of what a lot of Disney fans know it for.
It takes you through one of the stories which is actually told within the film. So in the film song itself, there's a story within the story. And the story in the story is the story of how Briar Rabbit is sort of outsmarting and outwitting Briar Bear and Briar Fox, who are sort of trying to chase after him, and then he sort of outwits them, and then he sings about having your laughing place.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a laughing place.
Yes.
Which they have while you're on the ride as well.
Yeah.
So you're going through the different scenes of the Briar Rabbit adventures, and you get some really good animatronics inside.
Yeah, you do, yeah, and really good theming as well, like a sort of woodland thing with lots of trees and leaves and things like that. And it also ends with all the character scenes that you do that as you go through like the finale. One thing about this ride, it's sort of funny because the film is so controversial, and it's sort of something that Disney doesn't really talk about.
Yeah, they're like, we won't mention this.
Yeah, because
keep it in the box.
Yeah, because it was just a lot of people think it was completely riddled with racism. And
yeah, we'll say it's not the most progressive film.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nowadays.
Pretty much, but Splash Mountain, I think maybe people don't know that it's based on Song of the South, I'm not sure, but Disney sort of brushed that under the carpet, but yet they're still really happy to like go the whole hog and have Splash Mountain in many of their parks. So yeah, but it's a great ride.
Yeah, and one of the other coolness is when you're actually inside the ride. At one point you do go right up to the top and you go outside, and you can see you've got this amazing view branching all over the rest of Magic Kingdom. And I did see one thing, because they say that when you're inside Disney World you can never see outside of it. And you can at the top of Splash Mountain. That's the only place.
Before you go down the big drop?
Not the big drop, there's one that you go up and you go around, and you can see outside of Disney World.
Why didn't you tell me? What did you see? What did you see?
You can see that park. It's very good. When you're at the top, you get this beautiful, majestic view of the rest of Disney World, which is really nice.
Yeah, I saw the lovely view. I didn't see the car. We'll just have to go again. What really sets this ride apart from like your standard dog flumes that you might get at Thorpe Park and that kind of thing is that it's just so full of charm, and you do get the experience element of it with the fact that you're going through the story.
With this massive 50-foot.
Exactly, so it's something a little bit extra. In at number 3 is Peter Pan's Flight, which is one of my absolute favourite rides, and it's located in Magic Kingdom's Fantasyland, and it's actually an opening day attraction for every single park apart from Hong Kong, so it's definitely a Disney staple.
Is that that's the only one it's not in?
Yeah.
Everywhere there's just, as soon as everything pops up, chuck Peter Pan in there, has to go in there.
Yeah, exactly. And basically the premise of the ride is that you are taken through the story of Peter Pan in your very own pirate ship that hangs from the ceiling. Flies.
Of course you fly.
And you leave poor Nana behind, and you fly. And you fly off to Neverland and have amazing adventures with Peter Pan.
Yeah. The thing that sets it above other dark rides that you have where you just sort of go through the story of the film is just the fact that you're flying. Like, it's just that extra little bit of pixie dust that they chop on you to make everything just seem that much more magical and immersive.
Yeah.
Originally you were supposed to be seeing it through Peter Pan's eyes.
Yeah, so he wasn't in it.
Which is why you're supposed to be flying.
Yeah. This ride just feels so magical. Even at the beginning when your safety bar's coming down, no one even touches it, like the cast member sprinkles pixie dust onto it and then clicks their fingers and it just magically comes down, and it's just it's just so magical. I think my favourite bit is when you're flying over London, because it just feels so surreal, like you're flying over London, you're like, there's Big Ben, there's the River Thames, it's amazing.
And they've got all the little cars driving around as the other little lights.
Yeah, apparently they're like tiny lights on a chain.
They look like cars. Like we said, because this ride is so absolutely loved, like you need to get a fast pass for it, or you're going to risk waiting and give sort of 45 minutes. That's sort of the worst thing about this ride, is there is always a massive queue for it. Regardless of where in the world you go to find it, or what time of the day you go to find it, there's always going to be a queue for it.
Yeah, we're talking at least 45 minutes, so
get
a fast pass, get a fast pass, see it during the fireworks or parade, or first thing in the morning.
Yeah, the queue's not too bad. They added some interactive stuff to it, so you can like play with a shadow or something.
Yeah.
No one likes queue.
Yeah, still, even if it's a 2-hour queue and there's a little couple of interactive bits, I don't think it's going to take away the pain too much.
So number 2 on our list is The Little Mermaid Journey Under the Sea, So this opened in 2012, pretty much direct replica of Ariel's Undersea Adventure from Disneyland, California.
Yeah, did you go on in that 2018?
So, opened in 2012 and it's based on The Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
As you would normally expect, it's your standard dark ride, you just go through and see the different bits of the film, but it's done so well!
Yeah, we love it. And as it was opened in 2012, it was part of the new Fantasyland expansion in the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
This ride takes you through, as Ollie said, the story of The Little Mermaid, so from Ariel wishing to be part of that world to when her and Eric get married, complete with fireworks and everything, and you get to see it all from your very own clamshell. And my favourite bit, I think, is it's hard to think of it, but I think it's actually the under the sea scene, just because there's just so much going on. Like you said, when you first went on it, you felt like it was like sensory overload, because there's just music and amazing animatronics and fish that you actually recognise from the film.
But like I said, that scene is absolutely amazing. You go through, there's just so much going on over everywhere. There's just constantly something. The attention to detail in it is sort of immaculate as well.
Yeah.
But with the animatronics as well, they just look gorgeous as well. Like you see them, they just look astounding. A lot of effort into it.
Yeah, and the kind of standard that you would hope all the rides will have one day.
My favourite one's actually when you see Ursula. She's like looking into her little crystal ball. But no, she's a massive animatronic.
She's like, woo! Yeah. Another bit I really love about this ride is the fact that Sebastian features so heavily in it, because Sebastian is amazing. And also Scuttle.
He's the best.
Like Scuttle's the first character you see, and he's just like, he's acting like that drunk relative that turns up to all your family functions a little bit tipsy. He's like, Ariel!
So like all the other rides that have always make all of our lists, the theming is just on point. You have all of these massive rocks which has got sort of Eric's castle on top of it. And then you have this big ship outside the front which has got Ariel, and she's like the mermaid on the front side.
Yeah.
Sort of thing, the traditional sailing sort of stand sort of thing.
Yeah.
You've got King Triton outside the front as well.
With his axe of steel. So I guess the sort of point is with Prince Eric's castle being on top of the rock is that you are going underneath the rock into the sea and therefore under the sea. So from like start to finish you feel like you're being immersed into a seaside area. So you've got nets, you've got like buried treasure, anchors, all that sort of thing going on while you're in there. One really good thing about the ride when you're actually on it is that you never hear the songs blend into each other. One
criticism which I do have with this ride, which I thought every time I've been on it, is I think it has actually a severe pacing problem sort of thing, because it's all very well paced and everything. You've got all these different sort of amazing scenes demonstrating everything really well for the different parts of the story, but then it jumps from her losing her voice to kiss the girl, and then you have this little scene sort of in there of Eric killing her, which is sort of like she looks like a little cardboard cutout at the back sort of thing, moving around, and then it jumps to the wedding. And
another thing that's sort of blessing and a curse about this ride is that you can see other guests in their own clamshells as you're going around. So in one sense this helps the ride to never really have a very long queue, because it keeps moving, so the clamshells never stop moving, so people just sort of get on them. But that does mean that as your clamshell is like twisting and turning, you do sometimes like catch the eye of other people. And we saw a lot of people not enjoying it as much as we were, and it made me sad because they're just sitting there on their phones. I'm like, why are you texting?
Why are you at Disney?
Like, Sebastian's singing to you, listen up people! God!
Yeah, so that sort of takes you out of the mood when you can see other people sort of doing it.
But we loved it.
Welcome, foolish mortals, to the haunted mansion.
I'm number one. It's the haunted mansion! I'm not just showing everybody my chest. This is my haunted mansion top. That was your clue. This haunted house themed attraction opened in 1971 in Magic Kingdom's Fantasyland, and it basically takes you on a ride in your very own dune buggy. There's also a version of it in Tokyo and in Disneyland as well, and then Disneyland Paris has Phantom Manor, which is a similar sort of thing, and Hong Kong has Mystic Manor. So your host for the whole thing, from the library to all the other elements of the haunted house, is a guy called Paul Frees, who also did the voice of Ludwig von Drake, and a few of the pirates in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, like the auctioneer.
Yeah, this whole ride is just absolutely brimming with Disney talent. Sort of thing. You've got some bloke called Thurl Ravenscroft, who was also the voice of Tony the Tiger and did Do You Remember Me More Mr. Grinch, the song.
Yeah, he's got an awesome voice.
Which is, he's got some amazing voice.
Yeah, so he sings Grim Grim Ghosts,
yes,
which is a song that you hear as you're going all the way around.
Yes. And then you've got Eleanor Audley, who's Madame Leota, who's sort of in the crystal ball.
Yeah, she's the ghost inside the crystal ball.
But she was also Lady Tremaine, and she was Maleficent. But the ride is sort of split into two parts. This came from when they were first designing the ride. There was loads of arguments on what sort of rides it's going to be. Some people wanted it to be spooky and scary and creepy. Other people just wanted it to be light-hearted and sort of like dancing ghosts and everything.
Yeah.
So they compromised and did both. So that's why the first half of it is very much the creepy, the spooky aspect for it, the haunted house with the never-ending staircases, the doors that lead to nowhere.
Yeah, and the ghosts everywhere and coffins and all that.
They're coming out of the coffins, they're dancing, the ghosts are dancing in the ballroom. And then you go into the graveyard scene where they give you a song and dance. And you have the hitchhiking ghost trying to hop in the carriage on their way out.
Yeah, so they basically did both.
But the theming on this ride is absolutely amazing. It's just sort of, it just blows everyone's mind all the time. Just like, because the first time we went on, we thought, is it overrated? Because people just hype it up so much. And then you just think, no, it's not hyped up enough.
Yeah.
It's an absolutely amazing ride. The theming the theming in the queue, because they've got all the gravestones with people's names on and like fun little limericks sort of thing on them, to all of the ghosts inside, and the attention to detail, everything is just absolutely mind-blowing. And the storytelling aspect of it as well. It doesn't really have a definitively set story. You kind of can make up your own story.
Also, when this ride was when this attraction was being developed, they were considering making it into like a spooky restaurant.
Which would have been amazing.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
It's going to be sort of called the Museum of the Weird Restaurant, which would have been amazing. Like, oh god, think of like the food, they could have done the theming on the food. And
spooky food. There's even a homage to the ride that was on the plot of land where Haunted Mansion is now, before it, which was the Tales of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. So
really old school Disney film, actually.
So they've got a gravestone of Mr. Toad. The organ in the ballroom scene is apparently the original one that was used in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. This ride completely takes you away from all the magic of the Magic Kingdom. It's just awesome. The only really bad thing about it is that it spawned a pretty terrible movie of the same name, which was released in 2003 and starred Eddie Murphy.
Apparently they're remaking it actually. I've read somewhere that Del Toro's supposed to be doing it, so same bloke from Pan's Labyrinth. So if they had the same level of like spiritual mystericalness and just creepiness and monsters and everything, it would just be absolutely amazing. So that was our list. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Make sure to give the video a like and comment below what your favourite experience ride is, or based on a film or one that doesn't exist yet. What ride should they make next? Please subscribe so you don't miss our future videos. Our Disneyland vlogs are going to be coming your way very soon because we are going there in 28 days. The original. Did we mention? I think it has. So yeah, make sure you're subscribed and you click the bell icon so you get notified when we post another video. We'll see you next time. Bye.